Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Whatever it is that you celebrate, hope it went well. Mine was great. Bought myself more things for Christmas than anyone else did, but that's kind of the way I like it. Not a big gift receiver. I don't know why. I don't want any more stuff unless I'm getting it for myself. This is what we did in the last video. Ceiling above the living room, which is the floor in the front bedroom. I need to finish up some small details in this room. I'm also thinking about tearing out the drywall, checking for insulation, mainly just to be able to insulate it because I don't think there is any. And just to get this all, the whole house down to drywall. Here in the dining room, I think I'm going to go ahead and tear the ceilings out because I can address any floor issues and just redo the drywall in the ceiling. But I'm, just looking at these ceilings, there's a pretty good sag going across it, so it's the same thing going on. So I'm going to go ahead and slap some new wood up in the ceiling. The walls, we're going to leave them. There's some things like right here, but I can fix that. Or the guys who do the drywall can fix that. In the living room, it's just, there's going to be some funny stuff. I'm going to have replacement windows put in this house as well. So it'll be all new vinyl replacement windows. So I can kind of set them all to the same, set in the wall or whatever it's called. I don't put the windows in myself. Somebody else will do it. But yeah, we get all this junk here out of this room and then get started. In the previous video, the last one of 2019, I had a sponsor, and I'm proud to say that this video, the first in year 2020, is also sponsored, and that sponsor is Skillshare, an online learning community which I feel is a great fit for my channel. Skillshare is giving away 2 free months of premium membership to help you explore your creativity. All you have to do is click on the link in the description box. After that, it's only around $10 a month. With so much to explore, real projects to create, and the support of fellow creators, Skillshare empowers you to accomplish your goals. Skillshare offers classes for real life so you can learn and grow with short classes that fit your busy schedule. Skillshare is incredibly affordable, especially when compared to in-person classes and workshops. Right now, I'm taking classes in filmmaking, in particular, the class Video Editing, Transforming Footage into Evocative Travel Stories by Oliver Astrologo. While I have a handle on the basics, I'm enjoying how easy it is to hop on Skillshare and find a class that is quick and to the point. I can take an entire class or just focus on the section that most applies to my goals. Skillshare has their classes organized into categories that make it easy to find what you need. If you're an entrepreneur like me, I'd suggest checking out their Build classes that focus in freelance and entrepreneurship as well as the marketing category. Please say thank you to Skillshare in the comments below for their support of this channel, and be sure to check out the link in the description. Again, they're offering 2 free months of their premium membership. Thank you, Skillshare, for your support. So they have 2x6 joists. This is a 2x8 or whatever for good measure. But then they came back in with all these 2x4s and then notched them all into the other ones to try to level out the ceiling. I don't know what was going on in this house. What I think there could be some sort of engineering effect in here, and then just the spider webbing of all this wood has just created incredible strength. That's what I'm going to count on. One question you're going to run into in houses sometimes is there insulation in the walls? There's a lot of situations where you can find that answer out pretty easily. One is just to remove the cover on an outlet and then look in beside. You can kind of pry the outlet over a little bit and see if there's any insulation. Sometimes you really can't see it. It doesn't mean that the wall itself isn't insulated. Then in other cases, you'll have walls that don't have any way to look into them, no outlet boxes. A very simple solution to that is to take a screw as a decking screw, run it in a little bit, then I knock it in the rest of the way. That's where you clear the hole out. And now I'll run the screwdriver a little bit, back it up a tiny bit, and pull the screw out. And since you knocked that screw in, you can pull the screw out because you sort of knocked the threads out of the drywall. Then you're going to take a look at that screw, and that screw has insulation wrapped around it. So once you knock it in, you run it a little bit and it grabs some insulation, you pull it out, and that tells you have insulation in the wall. And all you end up with is one small little hole in the wall, and that's the same as if you were just spackling up holes for pictures. It's very common for a renovation to kind of kick you while you're down. It constantly seems like there's so much work to do, it's never going to get done, but then eventually it does get done. So you don't have to worry too much about that, but it will eat at you. It's just common for this type of thing. Right now my challenge is, let me take the camera up and show you something. That blue outlet box right here, and then all these wires running off of it, it's connected to other things in two different ways, meaning that you'll have a wire running out on one side of the box going to an outlet, and then there's another wire running out of the same box going over to the same outlet. So it's almost like someone did this blindfolded, or someone came back in and changed it later blindfolded. I have no idea what's going on. So all that extends down into the walls. For whatever reason, there's two wires going down to that outlet box. One of them goes some other direction. One of them goes to another direction. But they're both connected back up here to that outlet box. So I have no idea why. There's switches and outlets on this side of the wall. Two wires running down into it there. So it's an absolute mystery. And I've even seen it in houses where they accidentally tie two circuits together so you could flip a breaker off, but it's still got power going to it. I don't even know. So I don't want the house to burn down, so I'm going to pull the drywall out and check out what's going on behind these walls. I could probably do it some other different way, but in the end, I have smoother walls in here. I was not planning on doing it, so I'm a little bummed right now to do this, but I think I will probably be careful, keep the baseboards. Now I'll put those back down. I'll end up throwing them away, probably, but I'll pretend I'm going to keep them for now. Otherwise, I'll end up re-drywalling the room. Insulation's already behind the drywall. Have to retrim the windows and all that. So let me keep going. pretty much all the demolition is done. I've kind of come to a decision on what I'm doing here in the living room. When I took down the paneling and the drywall, there was 6-inch tongue and groove, just boards all the way up the walls. The whole interior is just sheathed with tongue and groove boards. Then they put the old wallpapers, 2 layers of wallpaper on that. So there was the boards, then 2 layers of wallpaper, then drywall, then paneling. So this room has gone through a lot of changes to do with the walls. The problem is I need to run electric in here. There's no insulation or anything like that. So I could just say forget the insulation and just pull a board off and run my wiring and then put the board back on there and get outlets around the room, fish wires through the walls for the switches and to bring power up to the lights that I'm going to be adding in here. You know, that'd be fine, but really that's kind of a slow way to go about it. I'm going to instead just tear it all out and I'm going to get down to the studs. I'll reuse these boards for making tabletops or whatever I feel like. The other thing that I kind of noticed in further thinking about this is over top these, for example, that is a 6-foot window, then the exterior door, and then same as it was on this doorway into the dining room, is there's no headers, and the header is sort of a doubled up on edge piece that goes above each one, and then there's little cribble studs that go up to the top plate, and that helps carry the load of any load that's above it. For example, in here it's the 2nd floor. So that wall is reliant. So basically we've got all these studs supporting the top plate, which all the joists sit on, but then when you get to above a window, it just spans 6 feet, a doubled up 2x4 like this, so that's pretty flexible. And you can see those bends where it is carrying that load. So need to change all that around a little bit. And since I'm adding new windows in, it's no big deal because I'll have to bring down the height of the windows just a touch. I'm not sure what I'll go about. That's a pretty big span. But in between, if I do a double window, I can deal with that. You'll see what I do on that later. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this torn out. And I think that'll be the end of this video except for finishing the base on the tabletop in the mini-series. So this is more work than I wanted to do, but that is just kind of the way things go for me. And I'm sure it is not the end of that pattern in this project. Well, that made quite a difference here in that room. You can see straight through all the walls into the other parts of the house, the kitchen, the dining room. We opened up this wall into a larger doorway, including building the header, which supports the joists above. We'll be insulating and doing the wiring next. That'll be very easy with the walls opened up. Also need to do some work above this window with a header. Same for the doorway. But we're going to go ahead and continue the mini episodes of working on the farm table. Today we're going to finish up the base. I've got a lot of options for the apron boards, and those are what connects the table legs. I could use these. These are tongue and groove boards that came off the wall upstairs. Or I could use some lumber like this. This is a rough sawn 2x8, but I've got another idea that I think would be more interesting. This door came out of the upstairs of the house, and my idea is to use it to make the aprons. I've got these nice long pieces and then the short pieces. Well, that completes the construction of the base. From here, I'm just going to let the glue dry overnight. Tomorrow I'll get it unclamped, and up next we'll be assembling the top and then moving on to finishing, painting, and distressing. Thank you all for joining me in this video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below and I'll do my best to respond. You can also check out all the links below, including the link to my ebook, which describes how I find and buy inexpensive real estate if you're interested in getting into it yourself. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.